Hello, and welcome to the MRO show presented by Chadwell Supply. I'm your host, Rebecca Wagner, and I am here with a very special guest. Bert, would you mind introducing yourself?
I'm the special guest.
You are.
Oh, thank you. Bert Wray, I'm the regional or one of the regional vice presidents of national accounts for Chadwell Supply. Been in the industry since 2005. I started on the owner manager side. I was a regional property manager over an affordable housing portfolio. So that's where I cut my teeth and learned that I didn't want to deal with residents anymore. So I was able to jump ship and join this amazing family at Chadwell Supply. And it's been an awesome kind of rocket ship ride since then. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Thanks for being here today. So we're going to talk about technology, 2024.
Tech talk.
Tech talk.
Yes.
Some of it we love, some of it we hate. So what we've kind of learned is we can't live without it. But today, I want to kind of hear your take on the industry, technology, where you think it's headed, just your perspective.
Yeah. Great topic. I'm glad we have the next 7 days to explore technology and multifamily. You're right. Technology has become pervasive in everything we do. To the standpoint, here we are we're not even having a conversation between the two of you. We got microphones, these like screeny things. There's a camera. But in multifamily, it's odd because we've been such a traditional industry for so long. I remember when I started, the management software we were using was a DOS based. For the kids at home, DOS was this. Never mind. It was this DOS based thing that in 2005, even then, was like archaic. And I'd walk in an office and a manager was like F keys and like hit like 7 things and something would spit out on a printer. I thought it was magic. I didn't know what was going on. And then we moved to a RealPage, which was a web based, but the enhancement of what was our capabilities from a management standpoint, going from this DOS based to this web based, across portfolios was remarkable. And you fast forward to now, and I think about going to OpTech's conference or NMHC's OpTech, and you get a room full of innovators that are developing technology and software to do everything. It's not just websites and procurement platforms. It's every aspect of property management has a piece of technology that builds into a tech stack. So what's interesting now is like that tech stack per unit has a pretty significant cost. For some of our customers, they're spending upwards of $150, $170 per unit for all the technologies that they use to run their business. So we go from this very personal, relational, like I've got key roles like a property manager who's teaching an assistant and the assistant teaching leasing, and you got a supervisor that's mentoring a technician, and now all along the way there's technology that's interfacing with all those relationships and changing how everyone interacts. Right. So it goes from this like very personal, like me and you having this conversation, to it's me and you and Artie, the artificial robot that's coming in and playing with how we're interacting. And it's all an effective change to one. It's supposed to be an efficiency, right?
Yeah.
But what's amazing is the fundamentals of our industry are still fundamental. Mm-hmm. So with all the technology that we're trying to bring into the situation, like we're capturing everything down to the minute, our interactions with the residents and driving more resident involvement, mm-hmm. It still takes a person to execute at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Like with what we do in maintenance, repairs, and operations, like at the MRO show, it still takes like none of that technology can resolve the maintenance request, the service request to the resident. You still have to understand that I'm walking into someone's home and I'm trying to resolve something that's disrupting their life. And that's something that's unique to our industry. So in all the technology we have, the fundamentals of our business are still fundamental. There's still things that make relationship important. And like all the technology we bring to Chadwell Supply, the true success for us still, and a lot of times comes down to that driver making a phone call to that supervisor saying, hey, your order's here, driving onto the property, helping them unload, sharing a moment in the day, like how's your family? And that's that's still a key part of
Right. People
what
still matter.
they still matter.
Absolutely. So what do you think is, going off the technology, what do you think is the most important or up and coming technology that you could just kind of can't live without?
That I can't live without?
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that, like whatever burst that like cancels out all the technology and we go back to the Stone Age. No, but I mean, I kind of dabbled in technology for a little while. I had this little like break from Chadwell Supply, and there's a piece of our business in multifamily that's begging for more tech involvement,
Mhm.
and it's really the maintenance side. It's the one piece of business that when we look at our customers, like we've got hundreds of our partners that we look at, and there's hundreds of different ways that we manage or don't manage maintenance. And there's a pretty clear divide within our customer partners of how to effectively manage maintenance. And for a lot of them, it's based on budget. So it's like, hey, how's your maintenance program going? And they're like, look, bottom line, net profit, it's looking pretty good. So
Right.
our operating expenses have been well controlled. So obviously maintenance is going well. And that's budget maintenance. That's not maintenance management. And understanding, like creating KPIs with maintenance and understanding uh time management from a maintenance standpoint is getting to be really critical.
Mhm.
Staffing's a big issue right now, and it's really hard to discern whether or not you truly have a staffing issue or do you have a time management issue, and how you're allocating the time for your maintenance teams. Are they truly effective in going through their workflows? You
Right.
talk about something like standardization. If I have one type of kitchen faucet in my apartment community versus if there's three or four different types of kitchen faucets, if you have multiple, you've tripled that service request time just on the front end, because I've got to go see what it is. I got to
Find the
come back,
right
see if I have the
ones.
part.
Yep.
I've got to order it. Will it be there tomorrow? So all those delays are further disruptions to your resident. And at the end of the day, we're in the business of resident satisfaction, just like our customers.
Absolutely.
Like us delivering that part for that service request ties directly to that resident satisfaction of that apartment. So bringing technology to better understand how these supervisors and technicians are working, what their skill sets are, where they need training, having the technology to understand those things so that that owner operator can effectively manage the knowledge base of their technicians would be huge.
So how do you think the industry's attitude is with technology? Because we get a little bit of pushback. I think a lot of times the owners and the operators are really pushing these new technology initiatives, and then you get on the maintenance side of things, they're a little more resistant. So how do we work through that?
Yeah, it's tough. So we can all agree that no one likes change, right?
Correct.
But everyone wants something different.
Hmm.
Like, how do you balance? I want something different, but I don't want change.
Right.
Welcome to human behavior. So you know, it's right sizing it, right? So it's really about it's like a basic sales engagement, right? I've got to do a real needs analysis to understand what the true problem is. I think too often we quickly assume that from what someone tells us, you've told me what my problem is, and I adopt what you've told me my problem is, instead of like really taking a good personal assessment or professional assessment of my business and truly pinpointing, here's my problem, instead of, maybe that's not my problem. That could be a symptom of my problem.
Hmm.
And from there, the way you overcome the challenges of new technology is it's kind of a threefold thing. So, you have to cast a vision for what you're trying to achieve through adapting this new piece of technology or whatever the case may be. And then from that point, like the old democratic process, right? Get buy-in and bring your teams in at every level.
Explain
So,
why we're doing this.
well,
Exactly.
and find out from them if it helps their, and if it's not a true solution the way that you envisioned it, you've got to be strong enough as a leader to recognize that this isn't the solution I thought it was, and reevaluate and find that solution. But um, the other thing too is to not. I think too often we get it's like a new car kind of thing. Like it's the shiny new thing, and it's supposed to be the coolest thing since sliced bread. And again, being realistic with it. Take your time with demos and take your time evaluating how this thing can actually enhance your operations, and then use the feedback from your teams and collaborate and make sure that it's the win that you're looking for.
So, how would you say that technology is helping our industry move forward?
Well, I think fundamentally we better understand every aspect of our industry, right? We understand the impact of rental income. We understand, um, our association within our competition. Like if I'm speaking from the customer's perspective.
Sure.
My competition is the other apartment communities like mine in a similar geographic area.
Hmm.
So technology is giving us real time information about features and benefits, like what's in the apartment community. Leasing information and prospecting information is giving us real time information on what's important to our prospective residents and our residents. We're getting real time data on feedback of current conditions of someone's home. So like even through smart homes, we're able to capture things like efficiencies with utilities and improve our energy usage across the board. So technology is enhancing every aspect of what we do, but at the same time that we get that enhancement, it's speeding up some of the issues that we see.
Hmm.
So it's forcing us to respond faster. So like, and that in a sense is what technology is doing everywhere, is it's just speeding everything up. And
Right.
it's forcing us that when we're in a service side of it, we've got to be able to respond appropriately to the speed. So at Chadwell Supply, we're having to speed up to meet those accelerated needs of our customers.
Really good point. So recently, Matt Trotter did a podcast with us, kind of
The
the Matt
Matt
Trotter,
Trotter, yeah.
kind of talking about improvements to fire safety technology with the new UL8 standards. And he had some great examples on there. What other examples can you think of, like technology in products helping our industry?
A great segue, because that whole thing with that UL8 upgrade really is this responsive time, like the speed at which it's identifying the problem in the apartment, the fire, smoke, that standard had to get faster to meet the needs of how these fires are accelerating
Right.
in residential units. So, what was your question? I just got excited about the segue.
Just the technology advancements in actual products, and
Ye-
and kind of bringing that into the maintenance world.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything from like, we're having there's servicing, not specifically to Chadwell Supply, but we're having to service EV charging stations. Guess
Hmm.
what didn't exist in our industry 10 years ago
Right.
or 4 years ago, right? So we're still having to provide screwdrivers and hammers and duct tape. But we're having to bring in like infrared scanners, like thermal imaging, all the things that, we live in an environment where there's problems that exist today that didn't exist 15 years ago. So having like textbooks and training modules available for the ever present changes that exist, we're having to adapt to that. And our partnerships are critical in that, and they're telling us what technology we need to have. So it's kind of that give and take of us, forecasting and looking into the environment of maintenance and what are the problems that are existing, but it's also listening to our customers and them telling us like, hey, I have this need, can you resolve it? And then having the flexibility to just to find it or have it manufactured, one or the other, and bring it to the market so that it's available to not just the customers that we were talking to, but future ones as well.
Absolutely. You kind of stole my next question I had for you, which is just what are some industry dynamics that continue to stand the test of time beyond, we've talked a lot about technology, but you also bring up a hammer and duct tape. What are those? What's not going to go away?
So relationship is never going to go away.
Right.
Right. We live in an environment where multifamily is a very unique. I identified this as a regional property manager. It's something that I trained my managers and my community staff with, is that we work in a very unique environment, whereas like our work is someone else's home and someone's home is our work. And it takes a special level of patience to thrive in that kind of environment, to kind of endure the stressors that come from, like, I know there's no stress at your home,
None at all.
and likewise for me. But for some people, there's a lot of stress at home,
Sure.
and to work in that environment, man, it fills your bucket up pretty fast. So relationships and the human element's never going to go away. And from a property management standpoint, I forget the stat, but something like within the first, it's basically that first interaction that a new resident has with their new home, that move-in inspection, and that first impression, that drives more renewal than anything else you're doing through the term of that lease, is that first impression. And for us at Chadwell Supply, we know we have a key stake in that first impression, because those products and the things that we're delivering to that apartment community are going to be a part of that make ready and get that unit as brand new as we can possibly make it. And we own that piece of it. And we
Right.
want to make sure that we have that opportunity to deliver that for you. And that's coming through our driver, and that driver's relationship with the supervisor or the property manager. Like, these aspects that were key to Chad Supply in 1987 are just as important to Chadwell Supply in 2024.
I love that. You know, recently, one of our founders, David Chadwell, did a podcast, and he talked about how Chadwell Supply and multifamily was, and kind of will always be a people business. In an age of smartphones and procurement software, where does old-fashioned face-to-face relationship service fit in?
So I hope I'm not letting too much out of the bag on this one, but I ran into Robert Chadwell in the halls yesterday.
Sure.
And we're constantly evolving as a company and innovating with different aspects of technology and how we can deliver more efficiently to our customers. And there's a component to a new system that we've been engaging with that could basically a modified delivery to enhance some, like, the efficiency, like get it to the customer quicker.
Okay.
But in that, your driver may be different today than it was yesterday. And Rob immediately got feedback from our customers that what's happened. And
They noticed.
And it's more important to those customers that their driver is delivering their product than it coming sooner in the day. So, like, that answers your question in a nutshell. That's like, regardless of the technology that we can bring, like, to our customers, that relationship matters more than the time that's built into the efficiency.
Bert, thank you so much for your insight and knowledge, and just for being here with us today on the MRO Show. Thank you for listening to the MRO Show presented by Chadwell Supply. If you enjoyed this episode and found it useful, please rate us 5 stars on your favorite podcast service. You can also listen to more episodes at chadwellsupply.com/podcast.